Have you ever stood at a crossroads, staring at two paths, both uncertain, both promising, and yet you just couldn't decide? It could be a career change, a relationship, or a moral choice. You weigh the pros and cons, you ask friends, you read every self-help article out there, but the noise in your head only gets louder. Now, imagine someone quietly walking up to you, looking into your eyes, and asking one single question that suddenly makes everything clear. No confusion, no fear, just truth. That's exactly what Socrates did more than 2,400 years ago. He didn't hand out advice. He didn't tell people what to do. Instead, he asked questions, one in particular that could dissolve uncertainty, cut through fear, and reveal what's right. And here's the secret. This question isn't ancient philosophy. It's timeless psychology. Because deep down, the answer has always been within you. It just takes the right question to bring it out. In the next few minutes, we'll explore that question, the man behind it, and how it can guide every major decision in your life, from love to purpose to peace. Stay with me. This could change the way you think forever. Before we can understand the question that shaped Socrates' wisdom, we need to understand the man who lived by it. Socrates wasn't born into wealth or power. He was a stonemason by trade, a man who walked barefoot through the streets of Athens, stopping anyone willing to talk. Soldiers, merchants, even politicians. No one was too ordinary or too important for a conversation. But his questions weren't casual. They cut deep. He would ask, what is justice? What is virtue? What does it mean to live well? And the more people tried to answer, the more they realized how little they truly knew. This was the brilliance and danger of Socrates. He believed that ignorance wasn't an insult, it was the beginning of wisdom. Because when you admit you don't know, you finally start to seek truth instead of comfort. When Athens turned against him, accusing him of corrupting the youth, Socrates stood in court, calm, unshaken. They offered him a chance to escape execution if he would stop teaching, stop questioning. But he refused. The unexamined life, he said, is not worth living. That wasn't arrogance, it was devotion. He believed that the purpose of life wasn't to chase pleasure or power, but to pursue the good, even if it cost him everything. Centuries later, his question still echoes, not just through philosophy, but through every moment we stand between right and wrong, fear and courage. If a single question could give Socrates peace in the face of death, imagine what it could do for you in the middle of your next big decision. And to understand that question, the one that can fix any decision, we have to uncover what Socrates truly meant by living a good life. When you strip away all the philosophy and debates, Socrates' entire life centered around one disarmingly simple question. What is the right thing to do? It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But simplicity is deceptive. This one question has the power to pierce through the fog of emotion, ego, and fear that clouds our judgment. It's not, what do I want, or what will make me look good, or even what will make me happy. It's something deeper. What is right? Socrates believed that when we act against what we know is right, we harm our own soul, not in a religious sense, but in a moral, psychological one. The inner conflict, guilt, and confusion that follow are the price of ignoring truth. Modern psychology agrees. Researchers call it cognitive dissonance, that discomfort we feel when our actions don't align with our values. It's the tension you sense after lying, compromising integrity, or chasing validation instead of meaning. Socrates understood this centuries before the term existed. Let's return to a modern example. Imagine Emily, a young entrepreneur, offered a deal that promises quick success but requires bending her ethics. Everyone tells her to take it. The money is good, the praise is tempting, but something inside whispers, "This isn't right." Socrates would tell her, "Listen to that voice. Ask the question, because the right choice might not be the easiest, but it's the one that lets you sleep in peace." This question isn't about perfection, it's about alignment between your actions and your truth. And once you start asking it sincerely, the noise around you begins to fade. So ask yourself right now, in that one decision you've been avoiding, what is the right thing to do? But knowing the right question isn't enough. The real test comes in living by it every single day. And that's what we'll explore next. Knowing what's right is one thing. Living by it, that's the battle. Socrates didn't just ask questions in the marketplace of Athens, he lived his questions. He made every conversation, every decision, every silence a reflection of his values. To him, philosophy wasn't a subject, it was a way of breathing. Living with Socratic clarity means bringing awareness into every choice, no matter how small. It's not about having all the answers. It's about refusing to act blindly. Let's be honest. Most of us move through life on autopilot. We react to pressure, to fear, to the expectations of others. We avoid discomfort and chase approval. Socrates invites us to do something radically different. To pause. Before speaking, pause. Before judging, pause. Before deciding, pause. And in that pause, ask, is this truly right? Am I acting from fear or from understanding? Would I be proud to explain this decision to someone I respect? That moment of reflection is where the Socratic way begins to change you. It turns choices into conscious acts, and ordinary days into moral practice. When Socrates was sentenced to death, he could have fled Athens and lived quietly elsewhere. His friends begged him to run, but he refused. Not because he wanted to die, but because he had lived by one principle: never act against what you know to be right. Escaping would have betrayed everything he stood for. So he stayed. He drank the poison with peace. That calmness wasn't submission, it was mastery. Socratic clarity isn't about being fearless, it's about being aligned. When your inner life matches your outer actions, fear loses its power. And that's what we all crave, isn't it? Not comfort, not success, but the quiet strength that comes from living truthfully, even when the world misunderstands you. There's a moment, after all the questioning and searching, when something inside you finally grows still. That's the peace Socrates spoke of, the peace of the examined life. It's not the peace of comfort or success or certainty. It's the peace that comes from alignment, when what you believe, say, and do finally point in the same direction. Imagine waking up and knowing you don't have to pretend anymore. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to chase every noise or follow every crowd. You simply know what's right for you because you've asked deeply and you've listened. That's the transformation the Socratic question brings. It doesn't just change how you decide, it changes how you live. Every moment becomes an invitation to clarity. Every difficulty becomes a mirror showing what truly matters. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But the other half of that truth is this: The examined life is worth everything, because it replaces confusion with clarity, anxiety with calm, and blind obedience with freedom. Think of someone today standing at a crossroads, maybe you. A relationship that's fading, a job that no longer feels right, a path that once made sense but now feels heavy. What if you stopped running from the question and faced it with courage? What if you trusted that inner light, the same one that guided Socrates centuries ago? You might not find an easy answer, but you'd find something far more valuable: yourself. And that's the quiet miracle of philosophy. It doesn't promise to fix your life. It promises to make you awake to it. So